So our conclusion, hopefully we're understanding the Maamorim as the Maamorim is meant to be understood. And that is, the question that I say is, the Frierdiker Rebbe in his Maamorim is emphasizing V'ata machaya es kula. That you, and the emphasis is, when you say you, then we're speaking about something which is apparent and revealed. It's second person, it's immediate, it's experiential. You. Him, he, she is elsewhere, but you means a direct communication. So v'ata machayis kula, he applies that pasuk to the Zohar, that you can be seen, and every person can arrive at this, he says, from the highest levels to the lowest. Your presence is revealed. That's what the Nakuda, in detail, Oir, Chayis, and Koyach, where are you revealed most is in Oir, less so obvious, less revealed are you in Chayis, and less revealed are you in Koyach. Again, these are three perceptions, three components of the created reality, and therefore three perceptions that we have. As we explained it, Oir means, first and foremost, Oir is the appreciation that God creates something out of nothing. Now that, everything has to have a beginning, and it's created out of nothing. So that's stupendous, and that points to God's infinite revelation, involvement, power in creating. The Maamorim doesn't emphasize that actually. The Maamorim emphasizes, where do we see the infinitude is in the infinite creations that you produce on every level, including Elam Hazeh. That's really the chiddush of this Maamorim, where we see God's infinite creative force. The emphasis is not so much in the something from nothing, because you don't see that. We can intellectually appreciate it. What we can see is the endless creations. Physically, again, it's impossible to even attempt to give a number on the atoms in the universe. It cannot be represented. You say infinite. There's no number. Especially if you get down to the subatomic level, in any given atom is probably endless properties. So that's the Oir. The Chayis is the individual nature of each creation, the complexity, the life that it pulsates and emanates, all, in the words of the Maamorim, all sing a song and point to a creator. Chayis, that's Chayis. Koyach, which is separate, is God's governance. Less obvious, requiring more insight. The world exists and God directs it and governs it, and it's not by happenstance, and things happen for a reason. And if you open your eyes, you can see it. It's less obvious. Less obvious than marveling at the infinite numbers of creation, marveling at the complexity of each creature, its wisdom and beauty and design. And that's less obvious is to see when things happen, it's being governed. That's koyach. The Rebbe asks, all very nice. So the Frierdiker Rebbe is emphasizing that good v'ata machayis kulam, and you, Chayim, he explains Mahav and Machai, you bring into existence, you emanate everything, and that is readily ascertained and can be seen, your infinite koyach and presence and involvement in creation. Again, first and foremost, with the endless numbers of creations that you create. Ask the Rebbe, trying to distill the question, but there are some creations that just don't point to you at all. They conceal you. Like the inanimate object that is silent and doesn't sing its praise of the creator because it doesn't point to a creator. The thing that is alive, life, points to the design and the creator, but a simple stone, a doimim. And yet it does have a life force. That's the shame, the name, but very, very concealed. So there's a fourth dimension to God's creative process. The letters, the divine letters of speech, but on that level, that you're even more concealed in the level of koyach. Koyach is your governance, your direction of directing the world, which after some reflection, we can see there's a director, divine providence. But just looking at a stone, it's just there. It just says, I am. It takes other magicians' wisdom and insight to realize that in the stone, there's Aleph, Beis, and Nun, divine letters of energies that are creating it and sustaining it, but that's very concealed. That was the whole arich in the Maim, that a name tells you pretty much nothing. There's a fella outside this door, his name is Yossi. We know he's a human being and he's Jewish, but that's about it. We know nothing about him. A name conceals. And that's part of the creative process. There's a level of creation where he's utterly concealed. And for that matter, even not just the stone, everything has the name component. You've got to get beyond it and start looking and seeing beyond the label, its properties, and then see the creator. But the name of it, in other words, if I would tell you, they've discovered a new creature, and actually discovering new creatures all the time, particularly in the ocean. And its name is such and such. You know nothing about it, completely conceals its nature. That's a living entity. And again, there's a guy outside the door, his name is Yossi, you know nothing about him. So even though he is a living creature, but you get to know him, you see, human being, well, that's an amazing entity. But just the name of something, of everything, tells you nothing, particularly of the daimon, because it has nothing to offer. It doesn't express any life. That's why it's called daimon, which means silent. So the Rebbe is asking that this is ignored. Why is this ignored by the Frierdiker Rebbe? Why doesn't he talk about the shame component? And moreover, they're opposites, as we're pointing out now. He's saying, now he's asking not just there's something missing in this equation, now he's asking what's missing actually is the opposite of the point he's trying to make. The point he's trying to make is you revealed everywhere. Not so. That requires effort. The starting point is the name, the name of anything which conceals. And often we don't get beyond the name. Stones, we don't get beyond the name. We have to really probe, like Admorishon, to realize it's the divine energy, even in the inanimate world. It takes a lot of effort, but God's concealed. And the name of everything conceals that thing. So he's asking the V'yoyse Einim Muven, which is the second paragraph of V'yoyse. Here you're stressing V'ata Machai Ata Giloi. Really? God's revealed everywhere? No, he's not. At deeper levels of probing, yes, but not at the external dimension of creation, the name level. There's God's concealed. Adam discovered names of things. Angels couldn't. At the name level, they looked at a name and couldn't see anything. They saw the name Shor in heaven, had no idea what that belongs to. Because letters just conceal, they're just letters. L'chayra, this is the pshat in the two levels to the question. Are you all with me? Yeah? You got no choice. Let's have a better explanation. Now the answer. Right? Chaim, want to say something? We need to finish the Maamorim. Yeah?
I said yes.
Yes, okay, good. Now, we started to learn the answer yesterday. And he quoted a medrash, a startling medrash. That basically the whole motivation for God creating is he wanted to acquire a name. God traveled the distance of 500 years. That's the distance between heaven and earth, the first heaven. It's another medrash. Each heaven is 500 years thick. Then there's 500 years between each heaven. So the last distance from the lowest, the seven heavens, the lowest heaven to the world, this is all not physical time, obviously. We mean time here spiritually. But that's not the emphasis here, is not what this number, we actually did learn a Maamorim about this. At any rate, that's not the point. The point of the emphasis is not the 500. It's what's the whole motivation of creation? God to acquire a name. Why? So he posits, because here comes the paradox. As external as a name is, as we said, so external as angels look at names and can't figure out what they're named for. The name touches on the essence. So when he tells you that there's a fellow outside called Yossi, you know the essence. He's a Yid, there's a Jew out there. You don't know any details about his unique personality and intelligence and how he looks and physically, spiritually, but you know the essence you got. Or Jack, you know the human being out there. The name tells you nothing about the entity, but it tells you what the entity is. Although nowadays I'm hearing that people give dogs, or rather, people give people dogs named Hunter, what have you. So if I tell you Hunter's outside the door, today we're not sure. What does that mean? Is it a person or is it a dog? Apparently it's a popular name these days. Hunter, another name, forgot. You're in our battery.
That's my English name.
Hunter. Chaim Hunter Treitel. Watch out, guys. You know, you could be his next prey. But a name, you know, just aside, the name conveys the essence, which is why he says when a person faints, what's faint? Fainting means the soul is not projecting. It's withdrawn. He's alive, but his mind and heart and intelligence and feelings, everything is withdrawn to the source. He is alive, but not a manifesting life. So how do you touch him and call him, summon him forth to re-engage? Hello, the name, Yankel. And I told you the story yesterday. It's a beautiful story. The Rebbe told the story. It illustrates the point that the Alter Rebbe had the Tzemach Tzedek Ezenikol on his lap, and where's Zayd? He pointed to the nose, pointed to the beard. No, it's my nose. That's my beard. It's my cheek, whatever. So Tzemach Tzedek jumps off the lap and starts playing in the corner, and then says Zayd. Alter Rebbe turns. Oh, he said the child, Ados is Zayd. That moment when he turned, what he turned with? Which part of him turned? Just the body, just his eyes, just his heart, just his mind. His entire being was locked for that moment. The next second, depending on what the engagement is, then he invests an emotional expression. Is it a question, intellectual? Does he need a hand? Pick him up. That's the next second. But the moment you're called and your attention is called, it's so external. You turn b'chol atzmuscha. That's the paradox of the name. So that's the meaning of the medrash. God traveled 500 years to acquire a name. Another way of saying of Dir b'tachtoni, my essence, my name, which you will summon me by my name, is revealed where? Dafke here. Where's the essence expressed? Our essence expressed? I'm a chosid, I'm a yid. That's my essence. That's va'ata tetzaveh. That's the whole mind. The whole avoid is to reveal that essence, that I'm a chosid in every detail of my mind and heart and behavior, relationships, everything. That's the oil already. Illuminates chayis, koyach, all the levels of engagement everywhere. The chosid. Different modes of engagement, but in essence, it's the same. Actually, paradoxically, it's the koyach, the most further expression of me that draws on the essence. And you get involved in somebody's life completely, their language, their world, that's when your essence really shines. Same paradox, the name, the more external expression, really, the more deeper it draws on the essence. This is really Perek Dalit and Tanya, the Levushim are rooted, the garments of the soul, Mashav Dibur Maisa, are rooted in the soul essence deeper than the Seichel and the Midas. This is the endlessly visited or explained paradox of life. Let's continue. And up to the number 62 in the text. Let's pick up from there. Mizu, after talking about when someone faints. Yeah, everybody has it? 63 in the text. Folks, sorry, a gulp here. Mizu Matzin and Morov, not just when a person faints, Morov. Shafil b'shem, Kriya Shem is pratim shel adam, individual names. I'm sorry. Pratim shel koiches, ha-koiches mamshichem b'isam, mishorshim and mekoiram ha'atzmim. Referring to specific names, faculties within a person, he'll explain what he means in a moment. They draw from their essential state. The soul, in other words, we have the faculties of intellect. All of us, the faculties of emotions, they're all components that make up the conscious human being. They don't come in a vacuum. They're all drawn from the soul essence. But the way these faculties exist in the essence, they are undiscernible. They're not articulated. Only when they emerge from the soul essence, do they emerge with a system of intellect and emotion that make up the human being. But they all exist in a latent form in the soul essence, very much like fire in a stone. The fact that you strike the stone and it produces the spark means that there is this heat energy, kinetic energy that's there, very latent, but completely undiscernible. But it's there. The stone produces the fire. It's not from somewhere else. It's completely unarticulated there. Maybe that's a too deep of emotion. The flame within the, although not, it's not. That's true of the nefesh too. The flame within the coal. You don't see it there, but it's there. You fan the coal, the flame comes out. He's saying too, when you call somebody a chacham, you are stirring that faculty within him. You're stirring it. This is a very, very powerful message in education, friends. Especially with our children, and certainly with others, but our responsibility first and foremost to our children, and they're so vulnerable and formative. You praise, and you tell the kid, that was a very insightful thing. You're learning very well. That was a beautiful act of chesed. You're a kind person. You're kind. You're intelligent. You're a smart little fella. Then this breeds that confidence that he is. But more than that, it unlocks that. It stirs that. This is the whole Chassidus explains what's devastating about Lashon Hara. The same is true in the reverse. We all know this. You tell a kid you're a bad kid, that's it. So you labeled me and you just won't disappoint you going forward. But it's more than that. You stoke those problems. We speak Lashon Hara, even if the person out in the world doesn't hear it. We're speaking him, and it's true. He did this terrible thing. We are damaging the person. We're stoking that property. And the same is true when you speak praise of someone, they don't even have to hear it, especially if they hear it. We're stirring that property. Here we're talking about when the person hears it. It's not so mystical, it's profoundly psychological. You tell someone you're a chazdan, you're a kind person, then that stirs that property, it strengthens it. It summons it forth. It's there. So this idea of the name calling forth from the essence is not only true of the name in general, but the names of the particular faculties within the human being's makeup. They all have names. Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferes, Chach, Bin Adat, calling them that, raising them, summons them. In the words of the Maimitz continue, number 64 in the text. You call someone, you're a wise fellow, you're a chassid. We draw out their faculty of wisdom and chesed from its essential concealed state within the soul, like a potential state, and we draw from the potential to the actual. Likewise, the Abishah, why are we praising God all the time? Because you want to be mamshich, those in yonim down here. Touch me, God says. Stir it from within me. Elicit it. I want to hear from you that I'm kind and wonderful. And that stirs it and reveals it. We call the Eibush to the wise and chassid and kind and benevolent. Maamorim, so we arouse within him that he should emanate his revelation to us in chachma and in chesed. Listen to these words now. Before God decided to create, these properties weren't even there in a concealed way. They weren't even articulated within him, even in concealed way, waiting to be revealed. They're so deeply non-existent there because he can be anything. But when we call him by these names, we summon these properties. Let's continue. If we explain sometimes, where is this? Well, it's a Maamorim of the Rebbe Tafshach of Zion. Bosi legani Maamorim of the Fidige Rebbe and the Rebbe. The Kriyas, Perek Zion, yeah. The Kriyas Shemes, calling a name, Magaz Gamle Maamorim B'Yud Sfiras HaGnuzos. I'm going to detail now, but summoning a name touches the essence even deeper than the 10 Sfiras as they are hidden within the divine source, beyond higher than Atzilus. They're called the 10 Sfiras HaGnuzos. Atzilus, they're articulated, they're manifested, but in higher than Atzilus, they're there in a nebula kind of potential state. Calling a name touches even deeper than that. It's all to point out the power of the name. It's external. It tells you nothing. Especially the name of the person, the name of the species. The more general the name, the less it tells you, but the less it tells you, the more it touches the essence, because the less particular it is. He just added, even when it comes to particular components of the soul, it's also true. Chacham and Chosid. So continue. Much more so. Calling a person by his name, Reuven, Shimon. He doesn't mean chassid in the sense as we mean it. Chassid, he means chassid as kind person. Because chassid as we mean it is like being Jewish, that's high even in Reuven and Shimon. When you call a person by his name, Reuven, Shimon, or Rabbi, you're stirring and touching his essence. Now, circling back now, hopefully we'll have an answer as to why the Rebbe is not mentioning in the name. He doesn't answer it head on. Let's try together, friends. And this explains why he's asking kind of an existential question. The question he's asking, which he's answering now just a few strokes of the pen, is why would God do this, create in such a way? Why get down to that level of name where he's so concealed? Stop at Oyer and Chayas and Koyach. Make it easier to find you. Name means where you're so concealed that creation doesn't draw attention to, like the inanimate and everything else till we start probing. Why are you making it so difficult? Why the name component? Why the concealment down to that level? The answer is because that's where my essence is to be drawn and touched. It's where I'm most concealed. And this explains why the divine energy goes down to the level of such concealment that it's described symbolically by letters in the name of each thing, like explains in Tanya. The name conceals. Why are you concealing yourself? And it's not only the classic, I conceal myself so that you earn reward in your effort to try and find me. It's much more than that. That's the classic answer before Chassidus. Why Yetzer Hara? To resist and overcome it. Goodbye, Charlie. It's in the way. Get over it, and that's how you earn your brownie points in heaven. No, we're saying that in the concealment there lies the deepest connection. Not get past it. It's in the name. That draws on the essence. I'm a Yid. That's your essence. There's a great Maila, deep connection that the name connects us to, that's deeper than any divine revelation, the creative power, the Oir and the Chayis and the Koyach, each one revealing him to greater degrees. Koyach, Chayis, Oir. The name is even connects us deeper, even though it conceals, and Dafke because it conceals. The greatest revelation, even though it reveals the luminary and it creates out of nothing. He said before, only God himself can create out of nothing. But how does he do that? Through his oil. So his revelation, his revelatory creative power conveys the power of Atzmus, but still, it's not him, it's his revelation. The lower level, not Oir, which creates out of nothing, but Chayis, which is the individual, tailored, particular life to Bechinas Oir. For sure, that what is only a reflection of him. That is present on all the levels of Nivra and Neitzer, that's Bri, Tzir, Asiyah. Aside from the fact that we're only talking about his revelation, more than that, it's a glimmer of a glimmer of a glimmer of that revelation. In the way that we go down the Ishtalshalos. But the name that conceals completely, that touches the essence. So God is saying, I'm not trying to confound you by concealing myself so utterly in creation that all you see is its name, but it's in that external, in Eilam Hazeh, where there's names and concealment. That's where I am invested in the deepest way. That's where you call upon me in the deepest way. That's where we connect in the deepest way. Let's go further. Yesh lekashin in zeh. I hope we're saying right. Okay. Yesh lekashin in zeh mashnis boiliel. And the Rabbi said we connect this with that which we said before. The Milas, where was this? It's a Rurim. You see us Mitzrayim. Yeah, Yidin Tzivis Hashem. They're called Tzivis Hashem soldiers for the first time in connection with Yitzias Mitzrayim because they were engaged in the great battle and the victory then of elevating the sparks and emptying Egypt. Okay. So all of that which we're saying now is connected to the Maila of the whole Avodah that the Neshama comes down to the world to reveal the divine sparks that are where? In the deepest concealment. Elam Hazeh. So the sparks were at the outset, before the Yidden elevated them, completely concealed. God's presence. And that's just like we're talking about now. Shaderech Hashem, a name that tells you nothing, conceals. So now we just finished saying, yeah, conceals. Conceals all the revelation. What's left? Essence. When all the revelation is transcended. So what's left? I am. The I am of God. So even though its name conceals, it's external. Yesh by Maila Lagabi Ya'ir, but was explaining now that it connects deeper than any revelation. Revelation of the person is his intellect and his emotion. That's all tremendous. But deep in that is, I am a chassid, I'm a yid, my name is Yosef, my name is Moishe. That's the deepest truth of me. Shal Yodei Dafke Magim Be'etz. And the name is the key. Whose are you? Vemens bist. Who you? Not what do you think, what do you do, what do you say? Well, who are you? That's what the name conveys, the essence. Deeper than my opinion, my feelings, who am I? The tag, the label, that's who I am. Yeah, she brings some older Rabbi, now from the Tzemach Tzedek. But we are maschel in the mind which begins with the word Vahibe Shalach Parah Yisrael, and Parah sent the people. What does it say? The people. Parah sent Israel, the Jews. Now the word Chassidus says is lashon oimemis, and oimemis means dimmed, concealed. It's used in the context of coals, gecholim oimemis, dimmed coals. You don't see the fire. So why this name and nigla, not be nigla, when Yidden are called it's unfavorable, concealment. It's not a time of favor when we're revealing wonderful properties. So why is it when Parah sent the Parah sent Israel? Bnei Yisrael yotzim biyad Rama. Yidden went out with outstretched hand. Answer, because Parah sent the means that he sent them out, the Yidden had extracted the deepest divine connection that was concealed, dimmed and concealed, where? In Mitzrayim. Send them out. They're elevating the deepest sparks. That's what's conveyed by the word. But clear? Not Yisrael. Yes? The words of the Tzemach Tzedek explains Shal Yisrael Begolos Mitzrayim Ksiv. The pasuk says about the Yidden being in Mitzrayim. A pasuk in Isaiah, Uzrati Holi Ba'aretz. I sowed her for me in the land. What kind of metaphors is God sowing us, planting us? What does this mean? Vomer Razal, it's explained to Tzemach Tzedek. No, this is actually the Gemara on the pasuk. Klum Adam Zereyah saw, there's a person seed and a saw amount of seed in order to extract the same amount that he put in. No, to get many kurim, which is many fold one saw. So what's the idea? The seed is in the ground, concealed, and it rots. Bittel. And yet, being dafke in the earth and disappearing and being concealed and buried, that produces the great harvest. That's the metaphor for the for the idea of a name, that in the concealment, dafke elam hazeh, dafke in elevating the sparks is the deepest connection. Hainu, as it goes on to say, al derech hayidua, similar to that which is well known, being that shatir mitzvah b'shem zriyah. Mitzvahs are also called seeds. Hainu, shah mitzvahs in nizru b'Yisrael, the mitzvahs were planted in Eden. We are the fertile ground for the Eibishter. Shenemar bahem, it says about Eden, kitir liatem, you'll be for me a land of desire. God describes us as a land of desire, that I planted, I invested myself through my mitzvahs in you in the deepest concealed way, and you will reveal me and connect to me in the deepest way. Where I have concealed myself in the greatest way, which is in you in this world. And Shom in the Guf Lamata. The famous teacher of the Baal Shem Tov quoted Na'ayim Yom. Baal Shem Tov said that every Jew is God's land of desire, according to his pasuk, and it's my task He says, just like the greatest scientists will never be able to fathom fathom and exhaust the treasures that the earth yields, so too, with God's help, he wants to arouse Jews to reveal the deep levels of their neshama and connection to Hashem that every Jew has. And where is that? To be on earth, dafke here. Every year it said are lofty treasures. It's like the treasures in this physical world. We have to reveal them. Just we'll stop here. The latest precious commodity, I forgot what it's called. It's several names. More than gold is that which, not lithium, but something else, which is required for batteries. The tiniest amount is a tremendous amount of energy. And you discover it. There's a race to find it all over the world. Because everything wireless is going to need this. I'm going wireless more and more. It's a new treasure that literally can power up the whole world. That's what it's called. So this is all, why is this happening now? This new treasure, because this is all the purpose of creation. So this manifests everywhere as we stand on the threshold of redemption. That the earth, and deep within the earth, which means the neshama in the guf down here, here's the deepest connection. It's all the symbolism of the name, the most external, concealed. We continue to Beis Hashem tomorrow. I hope everybody's going to come. I know it's 6 o'clock and it's difficult, but we're going to conclude the Maamorim of Shvat. If there was ever a motivation to get up, it's that. Okay, dear friends. Bracha v'atzlacha b'sudas tovos.